Me again. Still working on the go-kart. This was about the 15th mock-up that I've had, but I think this is it. I had a epiphany in my dreams last night. I don't know whether it was the YouTube that was playing and got in my head and I stole somebody else's idea or common sense kicked in. But I was able to put the motor in front of the wheel where I want it and not have to move it back 8 inches. That's the original frame under there. I'm still gonna have to move it back a little, and it doesn't really look that bad this high. What I'd like to do, it depends on the gas tank I can find, but the gas tank doesn't have to be here. The top of the motor is actually right here, and the gas tank would fit right there behind the seat. Just kind of set that back in there. So you can kind of see there's room behind the seat, maybe around, I don't know, 5 liter maybe. Just a round tank right there. And that would drop this down, and then that would drop the fin down considerably. So I think that's going to be a necessity. Might end up reshaping this pipe to come maybe straight out instead of the up if I lower the wing, but we'll have to see how that turns out. But here was the epiphany that I had. This is the torque converter, and traditionally they go backwards towards the back, and that's the way I had it yesterday. This is my drive sprocket. It's not on the axle because I don't have I got to cut this out here so I can move it back to actually get the true mock-up, but it fits. I did have to raise it up. So I was originally planning on setting it right on the frame with maybe a 1.25 inch cross piece to raise the mounting plate up. And now, I'm looking at 3 inches. But what I gained is the clearance down here. I only have 1.5 inch clearance on the frame rails, and you can see that tab just barely even sticks down. So it's level with the bottom of the cart, and that's pretty much where it'll sit. I got some clearance here for the body. Move the axle back. I'll probably add 4 to 5, maybe even 6 inches back here, but the axle will actually only sit maybe where this frame is right there. But that was huge. Now it's kind of built in my mind. We're going on a metal run tomorrow to this place that's south of Springfield. It's the only one I can find. I'm sure there's one closer in the area, but been dealing with them now since I got here, and they're nice, and I might go back whenever I need metal. And I didn't know this was going to be 1 inch. I have some 1.25 inch, which is what I just showed you, but I want it to be 1 inch, and I want everything to match. So we'll make a run down there first thing in the morning. It's about a 2-hour drive, and it's coming together. You can do some sanding on that seat. You can see where we got a used seat from a go-kart place up in Wisconsin, and this is, cost-wise, we paid $40, and you can see the mounting holes that were in it, several, and there was a crack down through the seat. A new one of these, anywhere from $100 to $150, depending on how much you want to spend. But everything you touch on this thing is $100 here or $20 here. So we just kind of had to draw the line somewhere. So we decided to get this seat, and we fiberglassed it, reinforced it. We filled the holes with epoxy resin with some filler in it, and it needs to be sanded down. And then this is also a fiberglass body, so we're gonna paint the seat. We might do the seat black and the body red, but we might do the seat red and the body red. We haven't decided. And there's some spider cracks here and there on the cart that we'll fill in. I got some epoxy by the gallon at Lowe's. Is having a clearance sale. You can see down there some Bondo and some epoxy resin. And I got on eBay and got a thing of fiberglass matte cloth. So we are in business. There's my new battery box with the hole down on top. I got those tapped and threaded. I got to painted. That's where it was hanging from a string. And I was gonna put this behind the seat, but now I'm thinking the gas tank behind the seat. So now I think I'm gonna set it right in here. And they make a gas tank that sits right in here between your legs as well. So it just depends on what I can find. I'm either gonna find a gas tank for there or a round one for back there. And then I'll put the battery box in either spot. I also got some other parts today. This is a stator coil. Underneath this pull starter is the flywheel, and it has one of these already that provides enough electricity to run the spark plug. This will now charge the battery. So when I run the battery, we'll be able to have electric start all the time because this will keep the battery charged. And we're probably going to take this off entirely. Haven't decided, but at the very least, we're going to extend the wiring up here so that he'll have electric start on the dash. We also have a small tack, a voltmeter, and I'm looking at a bicycle speedometer. They actually have a little kit where you put the magnet down here on the wheel and have the little sensor. I haven't figured out how I'm going to mount it. I might be able to use the brake drum flywheel or something up here, and then you tell it how big your circumference is or diameter is, and it'll calculate your speed. And I have a little LED work lights that we'll use as headlights. And we're planning on mounting those right there. So do one on either side. Of course, he wanted the ground effects as well, so we have some LED trailer lights that go on like a semi that are real thin, and we're gonna mount them underneath. And so when you flip the light on, it'll glow down. This really isn't intended to be driving around at night, but we do intend to drive it around the neighborhood so he can have his bling and have his little pimp my ride going. And we also got a brake light, which will go back here. That'll tie into his. We ordered the hydraulic brake and cylinder together, and it's been back ordered. It's the only part we're missing, but that's not going to slow us down to do our getting it together and test running it. We just won't be able to stop. So pretty exciting. Looking forward. Logan's been out of town. Looking for him to get back and getting this together. More to come.